Good morning, everyone. As always, place your cross on first, no matter what's going on in your life. You know, you live for God. Speak with Him. Commune with Him. Develop a personal relationship with Him. You should talk to God more than you talk to anybody else. How about that? That should give you a good idea how much time you should spend communing with your Heavenly Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. I'm going to read from Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Starting with verse 9. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of all of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment, young man. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. Now I'm going to read that, and I'm going to go to chapter 12 and read the last words of this. 12, starting with verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. The reason I've read about youth, you got to read the whole part. Because if you read 9 of Ecclesiastes and don't read 10, you might think that the Bible is telling young people to do whatever their heart desires. No, he's not. 10. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. But right here it says, walk in the ways of thine heart. But this the thing. You got to get your heart right with God. Because God is seeking people, men and women, children, after his own heart. Do you understand, people? You see, but people that read that verse, they're like, well, the Bible said I can do what I want as a youngster. But then he say, I bring every work into judgment, every secret thing, everything, and this and that. You see, children think because they're children, well, I'm not accountable for my sins, my parents are. Nope. You're a child, you're responsible for your own actions. You got to think about it, people. We start sending our children off on their own to school at 6 years old. At 5 years old, we send them to elementary school, kindergarten. We can't be with them 24 hours a day. So whatever they do as a 5 or 6 year old comes on them. Yeah, they still young. But what he said, youth and childhood are vanity. And then he said, God is going to bring every work. You see, the thing is, God said, in the last day I pour my spirit, I put their commands in their hearts, right? So everybody's born knowing good and evil. You ever see a little child? I always bring this up. When a little baby, a toddler, is about to do something they shouldn't be doing, they look around. Where they get that from? They didn't learn that from us. Like, you know you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, so you like, you know how kids be like, little infants, they looking to see if somebody see them. They're learning. But at the same time, people, when a kid starts speaking, you watch YouTube, you watch TikTok and stuff like that. You got these young kids that are so smart. But they still children, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, people, these kids are responsible for themselves. You know, back in the day, it was different. There wasn't schools and stuff like that. The kids hung around with their parents and learned whatever trade they had. That's how they were taught. But now we send our kids to be taught by people who don't even fear God. Teaching them all kind of things. Well, I'm gonna give you another reason why, since parents think that a child can make a decision at 6 years old whether he want to be a male or a female. All right then. That's on that child. That's that child's punishment that goes with it. Now, as a parent, you know that child is young. And you know they shouldn't be making no decisions like that. But if you let them, you see two wrongs don't make a right. You see the parent is going to be punished for their sin and the child for theirs. But he said, suffer not the little children to come to me. He said, woe to those that offend these little children. It's better if a millstone were hung across your neck and you were cast into the sea. You know what that's like? Like how the mobsters put people in concrete buckets and dump them in the water so they don't come back to the top. That's basically what God is saying for people who mislead the little children. So yes, children are guilty of their sins, and the people that mislead them are guilty too. You understand? You see, the difference from a child and an adult, the main difference is they haven't been through too much. They don't know a lot of things. But that's where the parents come into play. We got to teach our kids right from wrong. Starting now. If they already teaching your kids this and that in schools, you got to find a way to combat that. And you combat that with the word of God. You know, I tell my kids right, I said, make good grades. If you don't, that's fine too. Just get out of there. Because the thing is, if you don't send your kids to kids' school, they can throw you in jail. Look at that. They force you. But the thing is, the Bible says we got to abide by the laws of the land. I would advise most parents this day and age, if you got one parent that can stay home, if you got the mother that can stay home, the best thing to do this day and age, for real, I'm just being real, is homeschool. Homeschool. I watched God's Not Dead, I think, Light in the Darkness. And these parents were training their children. They were homeschooling their children. They were teaching them about God and this and that. And it's crazy how the school step in and say that's wrong. But they can teach your kids whatever they want to teach you. They can teach kids that we came from apes, which is a bald-faced lie. You know, if we came from apes, why are there still apes? It just don't make sense. Evolution don't make sense. I'm gonna tell you why. So only certain animals decided to get on land. When the Bible clear as day, he said he made fish and he made people, he made the animals in the sea and the animals on land. It clear as day, he made a difference between the two. You understand? Yeah, God don't give you no explanation of how he did it, but he did it. But it makes more sense to me. They talk about the Big Bang. Everything just appeared. Well, the Bible talks about the Big Bang too. And the Lord said, let there be pow, light. And a Big Bang happened. Yeah, they basing everything off the Bible. You know, but schools are getting worse. But I'm so glad that there are people stepping up. They're reading, they putting children's books in school that are for adults. A bunch of pedophiles are running the school system. That's why you need to train your children. Because I'm telling you, they start being responsible. I'm going to put it like this. I think, my personal belief, around middle school. I'm going to tell you why I say that. In middle school, I started being myself. And I started getting in trouble in school a lot. And I failed the 7th grade. And I purposed in my heart after that day, I'm going to do right to get out of school. I made a choice at 12 years old to turn from running with the crowd, not doing my homework, to doing it, to doing what I'm supposed to do. So I say middle school, really, that age right there is probably the age of accountability. You know, back in the day, husbands and wives got married young. 14 years old, 13 was a normal age to get married. So you got to understand, when the Bible talks about youth and speaks of youth, it's differently from how we look at youth. Because at 13, 14, children were working and doing things that adults do around that time period. This is the world we live in, though. You understand? But it makes perfect sense to me. Let's put it this way. Puberty. When puberty happens, what that means? A girl develops. Her body is able to produce a baby. Can I tell you something? When I was in elementary school, there was a girl in my neighborhood that had a child at 11 years old. She got pregnant when she was 10. And the thing is, it was by an older man, but the mother knew. Nobody went to jail behind it. You understand? Am I saying it's right or is it wrong? I'm saying it's to prove a point. Once a child reaches puberty, it's a whole different ball game. You understand? Just think, that's like God telling you, you are a young adult now. You have to learn to be responsible for your own actions. That's why you need to start telling kids about sex early. Why? This don't make no sense to wait till they're 13. You might well tell them about it beforehand. So when they do reach puberty, you already gave them the heads up. The world gonna teach them what they want to teach them. So you might want to teach them. So once you reach puberty, male or female, to me, that's the age of accountability. Now before that, you still under your parents' care, but you're still learning right from wrong. Your parents still are not accountable for what you do in that time frame. If you do something stupid, you're accountable. You understand? He said, you will face the judgment for your works, good or evil. So that starts soon as you get out the womb. If you really want to put it that way. But parents, you got to train your children. That's our fault. If we don't train our kids in the ways of the Lord. You understand? We have to do that in order to make sure our kids stay on the right path. Now, that doesn't mean they're not gonna have their prodigal moments. You understand? But you got to think about it, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. The first time I had sex, I was 14 years old. Guess what? I'm acting like a man. I was 14. I was with a woman. I was dating a girl who I thought I was gonna be with for the rest of my life. That's when I started having sexual intercourse. So guess what? Guess what that means? My parents ain't responsible for that. If she would've got pregnant, who that fall on, my parents or me? I'm trying to tell y'all something right now. Who that fall on? One thing I didn't realize in this world, you can't be with your kids all the time. You can't be with nobody all the time. People do things when you ain't around. You watch it all the time. You watch parents lose children, be like, I never knew them to be like that. That's why the Bible said he would bring even every secret thing into judgment. You see, kids know how to keep secrets from their parents, and we know how to keep secrets too. But let's put it this way, you can't keep nothing from God. So I was a fornicator at 14 years old. And guess what? If your children are having sex at a young age, that's fornication. They fornicators too. I know people are like, well, we understand they're young. That's why you teach them about the dangers of fornication and stuff young. Because once they're able to make babies, put it this way, they're not under your supervision 24 hours a day. So you got to tell them these things. You got to prepare them for these things. So in reality, to me, it makes sense that marriage started younger back then. You see, if you marry somebody young and you're a youth, around 13, 14 years old, that's a good thing. You understand? I'm just being real. Nobody want to talk about this, but it's the reality of things. Like they say, like a 14-year-old kills somebody. Well, we're going to charge them as an adult. Think about it now. You're going to be treated like an adult for certain crimes and certain issues. Think about this, youth center. Now, when he's talking about youth, he's not talking about like 21 years old. When a youth messes up, they go to the youth center, which is like a jail for youngsters for messing up. So think about it, the age of accountability. You kind of know it. So children, don't think because you're a child or you're a youth that you can just go around doing what you please. God sees it. You know, I done heard a lot of youths, well, I can mess up now because they ain't gonna charge me as an adult. Maybe it's time for us to start treating children like the youths they are. Accountability. That's why I say middle school. Most people start middle school around the age of 10 or 11. According to when you was born. You understand? So you got to teach your kids good and evil young. Because they start being held accountable young also. You understand? Nobody can go to hell. Now, like I said, a parent can go to hell for misleading their children. Yes. But they're not going to hell for the deeds of their children. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does it make sense to you? You're not going to go to hell for what somebody else do. You're going to go to hell or heaven for what you do or don't do. Let's take a 12-year-old mistreating a poor person or bullying. I was a bully. I can relate. I know. And I got my butt whooped. Then I stopped being a bully. You understand? You see how you start being accountable for your actions? When that person you've been bullying finally get fed up and be like, I'm going to punch you in your mouth. Yeah, you accountable for that. Your parents ain't accountable for you treating people like trash as a child. You understand? That's why you gotta keep the word of God in your children. You gotta tell them about it. Because the devil is after the kids. You remember during the LGBT Pride Month, they were showing people, we after your kids, we after your kids, we after your kids. They ain't even telling you what they're about. Think about it. You got in schools. That's why you got to teach your kids to pray. You got school teachers that are sleeping with youths. Did I say children? No, sleeping with youths. Yeah, it's wrong because you are trained to take care of that youthful mind, not take advantage of it. But you think a lot of these youths that slept with teachers, it wasn't consensual? It was probably a lot of times. Lust, when it's introduced, when you're drawn away by your own lust. Some of these kids were not raped. Some of these youths were not raped. They willingly slept with a older person. That should tell you something. Because their body is changing. That young girl sees a man. That young boy sees a woman. Because they have these sexual organs and their hormones are going crazy. But as an adult, a full-fledged adult, you got to know better. You see, like I said, two wrongs don't make a right, people. Yes, both should be punished for that. Because these people, but then think about it, when they go to college, your kids are going around other adults, men and women. Think about it. I tell people all the time, man, I don't encourage college because I feel like you're sending your kids to the wolves. You're sending fresh 18-year-olds into a world of adults. And that's why you need to teach them to pray. You need to teach them the way early so they can be surrounded by the right people. You need to pray for your children too. Pray that God surround them with God-fearing people. And God, people in their life, they're going to keep them on the right path. Prayer works now. Like, we live in an evil world. I hate that stuff happen to youths and children. I hate it. So God hates it too. The thing is, they're gonna be held accountable for it. The things they do to youths. Let me pause and I will continue.